I want to know what you want to let's see for Abba MPP the Mass Central Party Office. So I bet was answered by and it's by we office why you never know in us and any who say on what Minister Abaviano.
I condition auto in a machine. I think I'm most at Mamanu Dilafi, MPP party. MPP party, so on yet, Tamamun and Nuko for your old, yeah, and my money. Young people, yeah, the machine never in our never go on. Almost in us, Abu Party Office and Abu Bibia, Mamman, one Abu Minister, Tower Party Office will be a Massano, a Massan in Bibia, I know, Nano, Dano, Cabot 3 days, a Massano. Party executive in Naka, or more money as Mamma, I'm not my side, I mean, as a secretary, I mean, I can't. To say no, Sierra report to our police. It's in the area and say, a police force them, let's do what you mean because, sir, Obis will be at the end. There's a banyadia, a police for a percent. I'm grown up, and it's just I mean, I don't want to say, your one friend said, Dr. Yawo. I want to know what you want to let's see for Abba MPP the Mass Central Party Office. So I bet was answered by and it's by we office why you never know in us and any who are saying on what Minister Abaviano. Baba say Yamani and Johnny Aqua Assembly MC officer Nim MC here to catch Abawaba say Abahe Asanako Benchiba Kura the Ghana for 1 year. So Baba Yede, I didn't tell the police for our bunch of Baba yes, I did. That was
he's an individual and he's privileged to be a defense minister. He can't decide for us. He as an individual cannot decide for us. He can't subvert our will. They should bring all the 4 aspirants, or else we can't turn MPP to Dominic Charles parties over here. That cannot be done. The name is this party has no history of personal interest. They should tell us the reason why our candidate is disqualified. That's the reason. We want that reason. They should tell us why he is disqualified. We are just did you want to we are told the truth. Like come here, we go burn him, we go kill him, we go kill him to it. What I come on the top. If I tell us we need chance, we don't want chance. If chance come here, himself, the Chama make it talk and tell the Wasila Chama will come here. Chama be fool.
Brown is the Research and Elections Officer of Okaikwe South, and he belongs to the MPP. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And thank you very kindly for your time. We're expecting the other panelists to also join us. Let me quickly, on the basis of this, run you through the topics that we've tabled for our conversation today. So we are going to definitely, obviously, be looking at the MPP's primaries. That is set to happen on the 20th of June this month. Also, Kenya extends lockdown by another 30 days. We'll touch on that briefly. Mohammed's unprecedented projects exist in fantasy world. The Kufuor says that, well, June 4 coup Sergeant Alolga Akatapore drops bombshell. I've read the full text of the story, and it appears that he is really not happy with ex-president Jerry John Rawlings. Imani Boss attacks EC, says none of EC's argument on new voters register makes sense. And we'll discuss the primaries like I intimated. So let's just quickly start with the African story, which says Kenya extends lockdown by 30 days. That has been captured by the Daily Graphic newspaper. I'm sure that this is, it goes without saying that we are not in normal times, as has been widely expressed by many. Indeed, our president himself has admitted to the fact that we are not in normal times. And so countries have had to take some measures, some unpalatable measures that necessarily do not sit well with the people. But because of the times in which we are, it has become practically important to institute some measures that will help address the menacing growth of COVID-19. Kenya is no exception. Kenya has decided to extend its lockdown for another 30 days. And I'm sure that perhaps they just want to read, the rate of infection, for instance, and perhaps read the rate of spread, and also of containment before they ease the restrictions. But for the purposes of having an extensive and expansive conversation on this matter, I think it's important to read a little bit of what the story is saying. So Kenya extends lockdown by 30 days. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has extended the nationwide overnight curfew by another 30 days after warning that ending it risks tens of thousands of additional coronavirus deaths. But the nightly curfew will be 3 hours shorter, running from 11 to 4 a.m. And several areas that had been under lockdown will now reopen. Some Kenyans were disappointed that Mr. Kenyatta made no mention in Saturday's announcement of police brutality after the Independent Police Oversight Authority revealed this week that 15 people had died at the hands of officers enforcing the curfew. Complaints against police have included shootings, robbery, and sexual assault. Kenya has recorded 2,600 confirmed cases of the virus, 83 of whom have died. Now, it is very, very interesting how we have sought to ensure enforcement of some of these directives. And in Ghana is also no exception. I mean, you recall that when the president said we should wear nose mask and we should stay at home and things like that. You saw the video of the gentleman who was brutally assaulted in Kumasi, for instance. I don't know why we do that, but what is more painful is the fact that the curfew that has been imposed in Kenya has yielded some negative results, which translates to mean that people have actually died as a result of the actions and inactions of the police. Beyond the fact that, the curfew has been extended, it's also the underlying danger of police brutality. Sir?
Yeah. First of all, let me say a very good morning, and I'm grateful for the invitation. This is my first time here in your studios. I think you have a very wonderful setup.
Thank you.
First of all, let me also extend greetings to the very good people of Okaikwe South. I know they are watching in all honesty. And so, first of all, we are not in normal times, like the usual narrative says. And so, you would expect that anytime there's a change in the public order with regards to the way we live, there's always the tendency of public rebellion against the new norm, because that is not the usual way of living. And so for an imposition of curfew, it also brings to light the height of how the problem is at a certain area. We are very fortunate we had a lockdown, not a curfew in that manner. And so it tells you that perhaps the Kenyan government is worried about, overwhelmed by the situation. Exactly. And so they will have to take drastic measures. But like I said, you would always also expect public rebellion, because that is not the system they are used to. But I would admonish that in all these, there must be proper people management, because leadership also comes with responsibility.
Clearly.
The moment you impose certain restrictions on your people, you must also be aware that they are likely to rebel, and so there must be that common grounds where everybody can compromise a bit, and so you don't unleash terror on the people when in the first instance they are dealing with uncomfortabilities. And so for me, I think that we must look at it in two ways. That the people must understand that it is not the best option, but it is necessary at the moment that they uphold that restrictions. And government must also be lenient enough to know that it is not the people's fault also, because they are used to a certain kind of living. And so when the people agitate in a way which is is an affront to the rule of law, they must also temper the justice with mercy.
I couldn't agree with you more or even less. We're still here on Pan-African Television, and this is the News Review segment here on Pan-African Television. Now, we have just dispatched with the Kenyan story, which is an African story, but we're going to be delving deeper into a very important issue as well, which has to do with the MPP primaries. Now, we're going to be watching the video once more, just one of those videos. Let's look at the video in Saboba, and we'll get into the studio and listen to the Director of Research and Elections in Okaikwe South here in Accra for his take. Listen and watch.
Young people, yeah, the Washington never in our never go on. Almost in Abu Party office and Abu Bibia, Bibia, Yaman, one Abu Minister, Tower Party office will be a Massano, a Massani, Bibia, I know, Nano, Dan over Tia, Cabot 3 days, a Massano. Party executive in Naka, or more money at Mamano, I'm not my side, I'm in National Secretary, I'm in Naka. To say no, Sierra report to our police. The Nigerian said, a police force them, it's not what Chibina because, sir, Obista will be at the end. There's a Banyadia, a police for a percent. I'm going to get sisters. I mean, I don't want to say, your one friend said, Dr. Yawo. I want to know what you want to let's see for Abba MPP, the Mass Central Party Office. Sababa Besha, was answered by Majo and it's by the office where you never know when you ask and you go say. On what Minister Abeliano, Baba saying Yamani, Johnny, Aqua Assembly, MC officer, MC here to catch Abawaba, say. Abehe Asanako, Bencheba Kura, Tigana for one judge. So Baba Yede. I didn't tell the police for I'm a bunch of Baba Yes, Damas.
Stay tuned into Pan-African Television. So we're still here with James Brown. We're expecting to be joined by the other representatives from the other political parties. So James, you just watched the video. Yes, what is happening in your party?
Well, I think all is relatively calm. I don't think that we can use a single incident elsewhere to generalize, what is happening everywhere. Of course, there are a few agitations here and there, but I feel that even, prior to the announcement of 20th June, people had high expectations as to when the elections will actually take place. And the extension could create lots of frustrations and it would deepen wounds. Of course, nobody expected that the COVID-19 would, create this whole problem for us. But that is not also to say that the actions of these people have been sanctioned or is right. But I think that all is calm.
Would you describe the actions of your party hierarchy as right? When, for instance, you have your general secretary come up boldly to say that, they would suggest that people allow the MPs who are there already, the incumbent guys, to continue to run. And also, for instance, in the Ashanti region, you have Chairman Wontumi, who blatantly, without recourse to anybody, opines that in his region, they're going to make sure that in some of the constituencies, the members of parliament are going to go unopposed. Do you think that calls for democracy?
Well, democracy, I would say, calls for discipline. And
and discipline at all fronts. Right?
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
So from the leadership and from the followers as well.
And democracy is a set of rules. It also, suggests that when you're in a democracy, you are governed by laws. And for a party like the NPP, we have our own governing rules, which I know for a fact that we have highest decision-making bodies. And so for a political party like NPP, we look at every issue based on its merit. And so for a chairman like Wontumi to say that, for me, I may not be in a position outright to say whether it's right or wrong.
No, but you have conscience. I mean, you should know, given the issues at hand, right? I mean, the rules that you are talking about are meant to guide and guard people.
Exactly.
The people are made, rules are made for the people, right?
Exactly.
And so if it is not palpable in your documents that we're going to, in the event that there's, for instance, a force majeure, whatever it is, in whatever form, we're going to ensure that we impose certain people on the constituents. And then the people, are told nearly about a month or so to your primaries. Do you think that really calls for calm?
I don't think that imposition would be right.
No, but that's imposition. If you're preventing the people from selecting who they want or choosing who they want, that would be an imposition, isn't it?
Not exactly. I think nobody has called off primaries in any area. Mm-hmm. Primaries is bound to happen. Mm-hmm. And so somebody's choice cannot be an overriding factor in who becomes the next parliamentary candidate. Everybody has a voting right, and everybody has a right to profess choice for anybody.
But in the case that you want a rubber stamp?
Oh, not necessarily. Maybe, you may be wrong that Wontumi may be carrying that influence that perhaps you are assuming. There could be other factors at play, which may not necessarily mean that Wontumi's choice would even stand.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that democracy requires discipline, and it is governed by a set of rules. Mm-hmm. And so for a party like NPP, the first question you ask is that, is the Constitution, does the Constitution allow? And let me be very frank. I mean, before even our presidential candidate, became our presidential candidate, a lot of people have already professed that form of Nana and all that. But we were yet to even open nominations. That didn't mean that anybody who wanted to contest presidential primaries who will not be, granted that opportunity. So all I'm saying is that people have choices, and people would at any point in time profess them. But the real deal is that nobody is being prevented from contesting if you have the willpower and the capacity to do. And so for me, I don't see this as an imposition. And this morning I know my general secretary will be granting a press
Mm-hmm.
briefing, and some of these issues I believe would be dealt with.
Yeah.
So you see that the party is
I've requested for a one-on-one meeting with him. But of course, let me be quite clear here that he actually made a statement to the effect that MPP will not be, it's not planning to handpick parliamentary candidates.
Exactly.
I mean, this is on the face value, but I mean, deep down in the constituencies, we know what is happening. So yes, if we are guided by laws, then the laws must trickle down to the constituency as well.
It is working. The laws are working.
Yeah, that is why people are agitating.
As for agitating, even when the laws are right, people will still agitate. That is natural. People rebel. Like I'm telling you that a law like a curfew in Kenya, it's a law, but people are still rebelling. It doesn't mean the laws does not exist.
No, I mean, I'm looking at the issue from a generalized, I mean, we are discussing the issue from a generalized perspective, which is to say that at the party hierarchy, at the top level, they're saying that they're not going to handpick or, if you will, impose candidates on the constituents. But I'm saying that within the constituencies, the direct opposite is what is happening. And I just want us to also factor into the conversation the issue about the relevant roles that the constituency executives also play in ensuring that the democracy that you are talking about, which is practiced at the top level, is also being practiced at the constituency level. That's the point I'm making.
Exactly, exactly. And democracy, the politics we are doing is about choices. It's about interests, and everybody has one. You get a point.
So your party is not burning.
Not at all.
Okay, not at all. All right. 026084659 is the WhatsApp number. This man is a very tough guy. He doesn't want to open up too much, but it's fine. We'll get into it. We're now going to be looking at the issue about the Imani boss attacking the Electoral Commission. And he said that none of EC's argument on new voters register makes sense. And he was speaking on another program, on another platform. And the whole idea was that, listen, the EC initially told us about the fact that some of the machines that they had were not in good shape, and that they needed to upgrade those machines from the outset. That was the conversation. Which conversation led to the purchase of some 60 million, is it 60 million? Or 60,000 or $6 million worth of equipment, all right, to upgrade the existing machines that we have. Only for us to now subsequently be told that the machines that we have are not in good shape. After the EC had purchased, the said machines to upgrade the old ones, and after it has used that one to conduct the district assembly elections, and then all of a sudden, without proper audit, the EC now comes out and says that no, the ones that we have, it's not good enough. So Imani Ghana, on the basis of this, is suggesting that the EC is only acting in a very selfish interest and in a manner that will only benefit them but not benefit the entire country. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I mean, let me start from where you just ended. I don't think that those comments are very, very fair to the EC when you say that the EC wants to, work in its own interests. In fact, the EC is a public institution, and in every democracy, it is largely dependent on the effectiveness of a solid public structure. And so, for an election which is an integral part of a democracy, I think the EC must be given the necessary support that it needs. The EC, like any other institution, is bound to, make mistakes or perhaps take a decision that may not really be the best. But there are avenues to discuss and make sure that the interest of the public is always upheld. The issue about the voters register, for me, is an issue that largely should, come from the bosom of the EC, the discussions of it. And this is a state institution that has a mandate to deliver. And so we must also understand that in the discharge of its duties, it must be able to have that, largesse or the comfort to discharge the duties appropriately. And if the EC comes to say that A, B, C, D are issues for me, and so what you require of me I may not be forthcoming, and so I need to do A, B, C, and D. In fact, the fact that we used, there was an upgrade for the district assembly elections does not necessarily mean that today the machines are functioning. It does not mean. These are machines. They can break down any...
In the piloting, the machines that the EC said it has acquired also broke down.
Exactly.
These are machines.
So they are machines.
Yeah.
So even after that procurement, they can still come back and tell you that after this procurement, I have these challenges. And because we have entrusted them with a certain duty to perform, we must at all times be at their support.
Is the question more about compiling the new voters register? Is the question more about the timing? Or is the question more about why can we just not halt it for now? And after the 2020 elections, you have the laxity of time to do whatever it is that you want to do? Is it wrong for people to also assume
not at
or
all.
to make such assertions?
Not at all. It's open
Because
for people to.
When I was in the Western region, I had a conversation with a few older folks, and from what they told me, they were very clear that, look, we don't mind the EC compiling the new voters register, okay, but we also love our security, we also love our democracy, and we must ensure that, you know, we protect the democracy we have at all times. Now, the EC plays a very fundamental role in ensuring that our democracy is well protected, because they are literally like the umpire that oversees the democratic experiment that we've been embarking upon.
Exactly.
I.e. through our frequent elections and successful elections that we've held and things like that. Exactly. It's all because of the independence, it's all because of the transparency, the credibility that the EC has. But if you look at what is happening currently and juxtapose the same with, well, the sentiments of the people, don't you think that perhaps we've gotten to a point where the EC must just resign itself to its conscience and listen to the demonstrable, evidential submissions made by some other political parties and in fact some other people, to the effect that we should at least halt it for now, go through the 2020 elections successfully, peacefully, and then subsequently you can compile all the register in the world that you want to compile?
Well, I don't think that the EC has turned a blind eye to all those who have raised concerns. The EC has listened to everybody. Even I remember that there were several invitations to the political parties and other civil society organizations to have a say in what the EC intends to do. But Kwame, what we must understand is that people have a responsibility, a responsibility to discharge. And so we must be able to understand from that angle also that it's not every opinion that matters. At the end of the day, we all want delivery. And so I think that one of the major problems that we are having is too much public opinion on the matter. Because I believe that even in the past,
public opinion shapes policies.
Exactly. And exactly the case that it is not a one-sided public opinion. There are other people who have also professed that it is in the right direction to have a second look at the register and the whole voter system. And so it cannot be a one-sided view. We must look at the whole issues, holistically, and try to come to a common ground where everybody will be satisfied. And so it's not a decision for you and I to make. I believe some people are in court over the same issues. And so when opinions become too much, the law will just settle it.
Yeah, but on the basis of this, you recall that the EC embarked on a piloting exercise. And I've had the occasion to go on my Facebook page and write, not extensively, but write my piece on that. And my piece was to the effect that you have a matter which is pending before the highest court in this country. You also have a CI that is crawling before the Parliament of Ghana, which CI hasn't matured yet, and which CI will ensure that the breeder documents that are used in registering will change at some point, because then now the CI that is in Parliament, the CI 192, if passed, will ensure that we only use NIA cards and also passports as the basis, or the base document, if you will, for registration, isn't it? As it stands now, that is still in Parliament. It hasn't matured yet.
Yeah.
Now, the court was also ruling on the matter prior to the EC conducting its piloting exercise. Now, when the EC was conducting the pilot exercise, they never used the old document that were used for our registration. They used the new document, which is pending before Parliament and hasn't been approved yet. And also in the court, which court hasn't ruled on it yet at the time. So, on the face of it, the EC itself is conducting itself in a manner that appears to be very heretic to the rules that must govern its own operations. Because if we've gone to court, if somebody has taken a matter to court, the court must decide before we act. You don't act before the decision of the court, because then it means that you are preempting the outcome of the court's decision. So, on the basis of this, would you now say that the EC is creating, because you spoke about common grounds a lot, on the basis of this, are you saying that the EC has created a certain common ground on which we can all play the football and say that, well, we've had a referee who has been very neutral from the outset, and the processes leading to the event have been so clear that all of us are satisfied that going forward, whoever wins has won and creditably.
Well, I don't think that the elections ahead would be, so much in doubt if we all support the EC the way we should.
No, granted, but the matter is in court. The matter is pending before
But I'm saying
go ahead with the piloting. You are using the new document that hasn't been approved yet.
Kwame,
yes,
there's work to be done, and the EC is doing its work until a law is given that would, as it were, expunge certain laws that the EC currently has. Then it's still in operation until a bad law is taken out. It still remains a good law. All I'm saying is that no. I get you.
Go back, retract and explain again, because I'm trying to understand you.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Yes, sir.
You are suggesting that perhaps the EC is being running ahead of judgments from the court because people have taken the matter to court, and I'm saying that the EC is governed by laws, which aids its operation, and so the fact that somebody challenges it, unless there's an injunction on the action to be done, but if you are contesting for interpretations and all that, it doesn't stop the EC from going ahead to doing its mandate.
Now, the mandate, the interpretation which is being sought in Parliament is incidental to the operations of the EC, especially so when the EC is only seeking to use the NIA card and the passport as the breeder document for registration. Because in the Constitution, as we speak, the breeder documents that are supposed to be used for registration are the voter's ID card, in fact, which has been contested in the case of Abu Ramadan, but the court also found a way of ensuring that it is not completely taken out of the documents that are supposed to be used for registering, right?
Yeah.
Now, as it also stands now, you can use your birth certificate as also a document that can be used for registration. When this piloting exercise was conducted, all of these documents that I'm talking about, because you are saying that the EC has to still go ahead with its work.
Sure.
Now, if they wanted to go ahead with this work, nobody is stopping them, but they should have used a document that is so approved by the Constitution to be used. They didn't use that. They now use the document that they have suggested to use, which is now pending before Parliament, and on which which document has also called for persons to take the matter to court for a determination by the court as to whether or not we must exclude the voter's ID card, we must exclude the birth certificate. Are you following me? So why did the EC go ahead, and which legal authority really gave the EC that power to now go and conduct a piloting exercise without using the old documents? That's my argument.
Well, that's fine, but like you are saying, it's a matter to be determined by the court.
Clearly.
So for me, I think it's fair to say that the EC is still upright and knows what it's about.
Okay.
And so let's give it the public trust that we need.
Okay. Are you done with the submission, or you have other things too? Okay. James is done. Naziru Mohammed is also here with us. Naziru, you've listened to my brother James and myself trying to explain certain things. And on Friday when Honorable Ebi Fusedi was here seated, he was sitting where you are, and he drew my attention to something that fundamentally I hadn't averted my mind to at the time, which was to the effect of what I was trying to explain to my brother here, that the EC went ahead to conduct a piloting exercise without recourse to the matter which is before the highest court of the land, and also a CI which is before Parliament for oxygen. Okay, well, let me just go for this quick commercial break. Stay with us.
na jawti kai mu da do bi kura si wa se wanti mensi
mate insist be sire why na me yikwa na tire wo o jari malaria din ya chinsa
eja kan akoma tu yem so onom dan proke herba mister osisi mbadu se from oyire so doctor ka chene se o malaria mo ani bi oni pedue mu a so onom dank antima x yare malaria ebe kokura obi wo honom a ne yem ye ne yanso a so onom dank gastro care herba mister ho beton dank phytocare herbal mixture koko ebe ye hu adwuma ma wapon waposo tutu dank extra herbal mixture obenya hoden ne watimi anante mekafo dank no nyina e de amamo
na ebenya dwe nya bi we
pharmacy shop and a herbal shop also per dank nura ye be ma obi
acho mo number ye say
0266593330
enroi oba pemfo oba ma akora nufo anya akora woni mfie du mienu ntime no FDA ahwehwe sa edwedie nkratwe mu agya tum se eye.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Let me apologize to you dearly for that technical glitch. We're back. And if you just joined us, you're watching the news review segment on your #1 station, Pan-African Television. Here, we say it as it is. We ask the right questions. And, of course, we elicit the right answers from the persons that we have here. Very knowledgeable people by all standards. I have been joined in the studios also by Nazir Mohammed. Nazir Mohammed is a leading member of the NDC. Nazir, good morning to you. And you have another position I always forget.
I'm the National Communication Officer of the Zango Caucus.
The Zango Caucus. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very kindly for your time. Albeit that you came in late, I'll punish you after the show. But I'm sure you listened to the conversation that we're having. I just don't want to belabor the argument. I want you to respond to a few things that my brother James said, and perhaps if you have any other thing that you want to add, you can add to it. James will also be given an opportunity to rebut some of the things that you would also say. Sir, please.
I listened with rapt attention. And having said a very big good morning to our cherished viewers, and to once again apologize for coming a little late.
Right.
Yeah, except that I can find some exhaustion on the part of my brother, who willingly gave up the opportunity to speak, so that he's ended his presentation, because the issues are becoming more and more difficult for the, what do you call it, logical minds to comprehend. It's beyond human reasoning to sort to accept what is going on presently, and to come to think of it as being the basis on which we will determine who the president of Ghana is from January 2021 is also appalling. It is dangerous, and it's spelling doom for any well-meaning Ghanaian to wake up and be counted, so that our voices will be heard. It is pretty obvious that what is going on today, if you juxtapose it to what happened some time back, you would come to the realization that there is a hitch that needs to be corrected, because election is a very important aspect of our democratic, what do you call it, value chain. And if we take out or organize election in a manner that will not satisfy many the Ghanaian voter, the tendency is there for people to, contest the outcome of that election, and we all know what the consequences are. I want to believe that whatever we talk about, whatever institution is on the radar or on our table for digestion, we know, or we must know and need to know, that it is on the basis of law that we can, proceed with all the arguments that has been raised. And the fact still remains that the postponement of the fact that we will not need a new register, and that whatever you think is you think is a problem in the register can be corrected without necessarily going through the hustle and bustle of, compiling a new register, have highlighted and have explained the reasons why they have said so. Some people who also insist, and it is now pretty obvious that the insistence for a new register, which the Electoral Commissioner seems to be complying with, is as a result of the fact that there is a government in power which has made a lot of promises that it cannot live up to. And for that matter, we're going into an election. I cannot survive this election. I must win this election by every means necessary. Every means necessary. So from the onset, the procedure, the entire, circumstances under which the existing Electoral Commission was changed raises a lot of questions. I mean, it's as though we are quiet, but every discerning mind knows that there is something fishy. Now, this is a new Electoral Commissioner that has been born by a government that is not supposed to do so before, because we have an existing Electoral Commissioner, and the Electoral Commissioner is dancing to the tune of the government. Doesn't it raise questions? Is that the reason why she was changed? To meet this, objective of ensuring that, yes, we will have it our way. But you see, the fact still, I've listened to an interview of Bernard Mona here, and I've listened to interview of many other well-meaning Ghanaians who have threatened, and they mean so when you see the fire in their face when they are making such statements. I watch a lot of videos. That's to suggest that we will not sit unconcerned for the sanctity of our democracy to be questioned, for the sanctity of our democracy to be obliterated in the advantage of the MPP, and think this country will move on without any problem. It is impossible. Nobody should think that way. It is your duty as a politician to live up to your expectation and then go back to the people and account for your stewardship. That may favor you a vote.
Are you not being selfish in that process?
What is the selfish?
Because the MPP wants something, you want another thing. You want the EC to listen to your demand, but fail to listen to that of the MPP. Why should that be so?
Why should the the EC be listening to the MPP?
But if the EC be listening to the NDC?
No, the EC should be working with the law, and that is what look. Every point that the NDC has raised is grounded in law.
Which ones?
We have made reference to Article 24 of the Constitution, Chapter 7 of the Constitution, which sought to suggest that it is the mandate of every Ghanaian 18 years and above and of sound mind to be given opportunity to vote. The attempt by the EC, condoned by the MPP today, is working towards disenfranchising people. Should we sit down unconcerned and be talking
about? How is it working?
What else has the MPP raised in the name of a new register that is so grounded in law and is not going to disadvantage many other Ghanaians?
Is it not the fact that the current voter register that we have is overbloated? Is it not a fact?
Look,
is it not a fact?
It is not a fact, because there's no proof to that. There is no proof to the fact that the current voter register is overbloated.
Okay.
Indeed.
Don't you have some 585,000 ghost names there?
From where?
Oh, but you know about after the 2012 elections, we were supposed to have what's it called? The VCRCAC CRAB committee that was put together to ensure that we clean the voters register, arising from the decision of the court.
And who said the voter register was not clean?
Was it?
Yes.
After the cleaning of the voter register, we still had 585,000.
I said that is assumption. And who should tell me? What do you mean ghost names? What do you mean ghost names? Is it the names of people who have died and they have their names in the register?
Clearly.
Is that what you mean?
Foreigners as well. Foreigners as well. And the MPP produced documents to suggest that you have people from the voter region, for instance, who were voters in the voter region and still vote. In Togo and still voting in Ghana.
They produced that document on social media. Which court of competent jurisdiction were they able, bold enough, to take these documents for challenge? They produce it on social media. And you see, that is the trick that the NDP continue and projections, which ends up meaning nothing. It is the reality being to us. Article 24 of the Constitution clearly stipulate, or Article 42, sorry, clearly stipulate that every Ghanaian of 18 years sound mind needs to vote. Your attitude and what you are putting in place seems to, would end up disenfranchising.
There's a process that is about to be birthed. The process is that we're going to ensure that every single Ghanaian is given the opportunity to re-register. So why, on what basis are you saying that they want to disenfranchise people when the process has not even begun?
Is this your statement or the statement of the Electoral
Commission? I'm asking you.
No, what you just said, is it your statement or the statement of the Electoral Commission? Because I would ask a simple question. I've asked that question here before.
Yes.
This is a case where, per the protocols put in place by the Electoral Commission, the first thing you need to do is to wash your hand and they will check your temperature.
What do you really want?
Now, I said,
now I want to know from the NDC.
Wait a minute.
What do the NDC really want?
We want every Ghanaian to get the opportunity to vote.
And they said every Ghanaian will get the opportunity to vote. What's your problem?
So then I am saying that, is this your statement or the statement of the EC? Because I've not heard the EC bold enough states that every Ghanaian will be given the opportunity to vote. Then it takes us back to the question of the ghost names. If a person registers today and dies tomorrow, his name is still in the register. What mechanism have they put in place as per the protocols presented to you that is going to expunge all those dead people in the register if they register today and die tomorrow, which can happen? So that basis does not hold water. What we are saying is that we go back to the, the fundamentals. What binds us together is the Constitution. Let's look at what the Constitution says and act upon it. As we sit today, it is no denying the fact that the Electoral Commission is working out something, because they've not been able to make a cogent argument. They've not been able to give any reasonable, reasons that will convince the ordinary mind. The EC today of Jemensa, that has become so useless, so dangerous to the survival of our democracy as a country, is the only EC that has, look, do you know the custodians of the land in Ghana? They are the chiefs. You know that? She has, turned her back against the House of Chiefs, which placed an invitation to her to answer certain questions so that we continue to dialogue. Because
the NDC's position has always been shifty. One, you said that the voters register was over bloated. Sorry, it wasn't over bloated, and that you didn't want for us to have a new voters register. You explained all of that. Then COVID-19 came. You said, well, because of COVID-19 we cannot do it. Then now you are saying that because of time. Are you not being shifty? Why are you being unnecessarily why are you unnecessarily creating an atmosphere of confusion when there is none? The EC says that, listen, we want to compile a new voters register. The parties, all the parties, including every Ghanaian, wants us to have free, fair elections. The EC said, based on the oath that we've sworn, we want to ensure that at least we achieve some measure of the things that describes the function of the EC. And on the basis of that, we want to put together a new voters register that will allow for us to ensure that the results that will be the results that we will get from the 2020 elections, and whoever wins will be fair one, will be credible one, and will have satisfied all parties. Why are you worried? What is your problem, NDC? Why?
We are worried because by divine intervention, as time moves on, our circumstances present itself with more compelling reasons why our position should be held. When you talk about the initial stage, when we talk about time, time is a factor, and today it has been proven. If you go to the the African Union Charter on elections, there is a clear clause that states that before 6 months to election, you cannot do any major change to any vehicle of election. You understand? That is there because they have reason. There is a
there's a basis
for our argument. Today is 6 months to election. We've not compiled the register, and we are still thinking of compiling a register. When we talk about coronavirus, it is a fact, and that is what I was trying to prove to you. That the Article 42 of the Constitution clearly stipulates the only sickness, illness that the Article 42 recognizes is when you have problem with your mental disability or something.
Disorientation.
Correct. It doesn't talk about coronavirus. And indeed, coronavirus does not threaten how one can vote or could not vote. As we speak, we have over close to 10,000 people lying in our hospitals. What provisions are the NIA made to the Electoral Commission made to get these people registered? As we speak, protocols indicate that when you get there and you have higher temperature, you need to be whisked away. to the nearest hospital or the nearest health professional post, isn't it? How can you continue your registration in that purpose? Has the Constitution denied you the right to vote because you've tested positive to COVID-19? No. So things are done whimsically and capricious to gain certain advantage or to the advantage of one person. And you think we must sit and fold our arms because times have changed, our circumstances is reinforcing the positions we've taken all together. And you think we must keep quiet to it?
Your General Secretary said, and even on my show, reiterated that he doesn't trust the EC.
How can the EC be trusted?
Exactly. So
let us be very clear. The German-led Electoral Commission can never be trusted.
Yeah, that's the point.
They never live up to every one single promise they
so
made
if
to the
somebody
people.
cannot be trusted, then it means you can't. Whatever it is that the person does, you will never like it, even if it's in the interest of the people, because you have already created a rigid mental set about the person's actions and inactions. We're proud to the person becoming the EC chair and things like that. You will still continue to act in a manner
there's the concept of cause and effect. What caused us not to like?
So what do you want to do now?
Because she must go back and act with the laws. So and not be a judge and jury in the same matter,
in the same court.
In the same court.
Yeah.
She cannot be that. She cannot be MPP and be the Electoral Commission. She must disown one. And let us know if she's MPP and she wants to contest for MPP seat, she goes, and then we accept it. If she wants to be Electoral Commission, she must be Electoral Commission and act within the remit of the law.
Okay.
And that is what we are saying. Are we wrong to say that? We are going to emphasize, and I'm going to be the 10th or the 100th person to re-emphasize that this country's peace will be determined by how well the minister conduct herself going into the 2020 election.
And what do you mean by conduct herself?
But to act within the remit of the law. And if she goes out of it, we have mandated by the Constitution to fight anybody that will arbitrate this Constitution. Yes, to fight. And we are going to do that fight with the last fiber of our body. With the last fiber of our body, we will fight, because we have a duty as the MDC to protect the sanctity of this democracy, because our forebears fought for it, died for it, sweated for it, and ensure that today we are all enjoying it.
You're making some very strong statements.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean. Take it or leave it.
If you say you're going to resist, what do you mean by that?
We will resist it by every legal means necessary.
Every legal means I refer to,
including the fact that we will reject that stealing that she intends to bequeath to us as a people. We will reject it.
How are you going to reject it?
By every means necessary, legally. That is how we are going to reject it. And you will see in this country, it didn't take anything supernatural for us to see a Kumepreku match that saw people dying to change the face and perception of our democracy. It didn't take anything. It was legal. We could do better than that.
Nazir Mohammed Al-Haji is a leading communicator for the NDC, and certainly he's not smiling at all. This morning, he's not smiling at all. And that is understandable because the party has taken a position. I'll give you an opportunity to also respond to some of the things that you said if you wish to. So let me read a few of the messages that have come through. Susuawu Kwame is watching us from Dubai. He says, good morning to you guys. Humado Sichofe is from Hohoe. Good morning to you. I believe that the MPP who have been saying the battle is the Lord are not turning away from those statements. Democracy is simply allowing people to speak. That is freedom of expression, ability to choose who to lead them and join any association of their choice. But what is happening now in MPP's home is so devastating, to the extent that some of their people are invoking the gods to deal with executives who disqualify their preferred candidates. Let love lead. EC, KOD, please. What legal basis did the EC pilot the voters register? Is the EC doing illegal piloting? And what is the government saying? Did this illegal basis warrant a legal action? Well, these are the questions that I also have this one that I've been asking. Al-Hassan Yakubu says, Jikan, okay. I think somebody asked me whether I'm an NDC communicator because I was firing him with questions when you were not here. I was simply doing my job, senior. And somebody has responded, Al-Hassan Yakubu has responded to that quite wonderfully. Joseph Achao says, corrupt organization, Imani, and their bogus agenda will not work. New voters register is on. They can go and bend the sea. Doris Abro responding to Joseph says, Joseph, wake up. You are sleeping. You don't know. Festus Imwinkume. Kewodi, please. Does the NPP understand the last question you asked him? Oh, does the NPP man understand the last question you asked him? The group of liars in office because of their personal interest. Do not know the laws of Ghana. God help Ghana. First you sent it that one. Osman Mustafa says, good morning to you, Pan-African TV. You see how NPP is opposing force on is putting force on their members. It's the same force they are using on Ghanaian through EC. Gunu from Tamale. Robert Nicholas Techi says, EC is totally confused. Joseph Chow. Okay. Mustafa says, NDC love, and gives you heart and thumbs up. Grace Tampuri says, yes, so fire Alaji. Kelly Wajegedam Alagewe. Al-Hassan Aziru, you have made my day. We will resist any oppressor's rule. Grace says, good morning, sir. Very good job. Mesa says, good day to you. I want to introduce a network. Oh, Masa, network there. Bernard Dangbo says, NDC in the right direction for democracy. Godwin Drovu says, watching you from Akachi, great job. Charles Thompson, goodness me, partisan policies really stinks in corrupt ridden Ghana. Let's be absolutely clear. Mother Ghana doesn't belong to any political party. Wake up, Ghanaians, and fight for your rights. Dr. Baba Zamo, master planner in Kintampo, says, President Nadu is the leader God has given to Ghana to fight all crises. Doomsday, unemployment, healthcare, coronavirus, etc. God bless you, Nana the showboy. Samuel Anaba says, watching you live in Dubai. No new register. Okay. Adabde Suzy, may God really bless you because I really love your questions. You are a great host. Oh, thank you very much. Joseph Vrendorf Sam, Kewodi, the MPP is losing the battle. Therefore, I want us to believe there is nothing wrong going on. Shame, 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 he added. Nasigiri Karim says, NDC all the way. Agbeto Salam says, what is happening? Please, oh, we the youth want peace. Let law prevail. Godi Mensa Duro. NDC, you can't do FOCO in Ghana. You can't do FOCO. When you make comments like this, you come and try that. You will see. He said you can't do FOCO. Alex Bini Aboma says, but the issue here is our journalists in Ghana, they are all asking the NDC questions instead of taking the issue and supporting them to ask the EC that same question. No wonder that they are all taking per diem. God should judge some issue. Maza, if I have per diem, like I don't go there. Charles Thompson says, kleptocrat officials running the show in corrupt in Ghana. Kingdom says, Kelly, you cannot have perfect register. It will be filled by some aliens. Even in America, my brother is a legitimate voter there. He has Ghana voters card as well. When abnormalities persist for a long period of time, foolish people perceived it to be normal. We the youth are the future leaders of this country. We will not agree to misleading leadership by this EC. Mustafa Mohammed has said to says, JM Love.
It's very important we repeat and re-emphasize the fact that as we speak, there has not been a single justification for calling that our register has, people who are non-Ghanaians in them.
All right, so Samuel Oku said that the voters register is an ECOWAS voters register.
Correct. So be it an ECOWAS voter register. I have been able to prove to you the reason why those people you assume are ECOWAS nationals can vote in Ghana is because Gabi Ochedaku, your pseudo prime minister, is voting in Ghana and voting in UK. Citizenship is not by tribe. Let us remind the good people of Ghana. Citizenship is not by tribe, it's by law. It is the law that determines that you are a Ghanaian or not. Else we will not have question or say in the British Parliament. We will not have it because it's not from there. He's a Ghanaian. Isn't it? Citizenship is by law. So you don't assume that because you see
James, let me hear now hear from you. Yes.
I think my brother can verify that.
Somebody said I should tell you that he said, tell Alhaji that we Zongo's paper ordinance are weak now. NDC can go to hell. We don't care.
Well, that is exhibiting his partisanship. Okay. Our position as NDC has not been because of only the NDC. We believe that every Ghanaians need to be given the right.
The fire that you have in the studio, that fire has now been transferred onto our Facebook page. People are firing left, right. They are fighting themselves, and I love that. I love that. I mean, we need to engage ourselves, but in a very respectable manner, please.
Exactly. Yes. And so, for me, I mean, I refuse every invitation to be, involved in such an emotional delivery. For me, I want to tackle the issues head on.
Okay.
And so some of these emotions that we spell out, I mean, we use our last blood and all that. For me, they are needless exaggerations. This country is governed by law. And so we must always ask the question that, what does the law say? No. Okay, but I will let you respect. The Electoral Commission has never said that it will deny any Ghanaian the right to vote. But the law prescribes that it must go through a process. When you quote the Article 42, it talks you about exemptions of people who cannot be part of a register. But they are Ghanaians and they are 18 years, people without sound mind. Yes. Is that not discriminatory also?
It's not.
But you think that everybody, because everybody is 18 years, everybody will want to willingly be part of a voters register? It is not compelling. It is a choice of every Ghanaian.
It's a civic duty.
Oh, but it's not compelling. Have you seen anybody being arrested because the person did not decide to vote? No, I mean, you can't make such an argument.
That's also a very crude argument. But I'll let you respond to it.
All I'm saying is that the law, is complemented with a process. And so the fact that the law requires that every Ghanaian 18 years must be given an opportunity to vote, the law does not compel that every Ghanaian must be there. People can willingly, absent themselves from being part of the register. What about that? So the law in itself is discriminatory in process. No. Oh, come on. That is. I've given you an indication of people without sound mind, but they could be 18 years plus. And are they not Ghanaians? They are. But the law tells you that they cannot be part, and so the law is open.
It's too restrictive that they are
exactly. It's restrictive, and so for me, it's needless exaggeration.
But where is this argument leading to?
No, KOD. Yes. Is the Electoral Commission not independent anymore?
It is.
Since when?
Since.
And so, since the time of the NDC, we were made to believe that the Electoral Commission is an independent institution, and you have seen flying on social media several excerpts of videos from the former president and other appointees of the former government make that point, explicitly. Today, are they no longer independent?
Yes, because the
post. No, I mean, he had this. I'll give you time to respond to. Let's be fair. Let's be fair with the process. The NDC must understand that their resistance is not casted in stone, and nobody can also, they cannot weigh everybody or think that every Ghanaian is supporting them. You have taken a position that you don't want to have a new voters register. Other section of the Ghanaian populace also think otherwise, and so you cannot threaten and say that because you have taken a certain position, then that is final. That cannot be final. They must know that this country is governed by laws, and if the Supreme Court so be declares that the EC is on the right track doing ABCD, a new voters register, nobody will stand in the way. The laws will work, and they must understand that. They must, the NPP will win this election massively based on merit. Don't ever think that the NPP is going to rely on the EC to win this election. Not at all. Even at the point when you brought up, gave an appointment to an electoral commissioner, we won the election. And so what makes you think that we need an EC to be on our side before make a note.
Let's have a decorous conversation. Yeah. This platform
I'm not comfortable with.
No, please.
What I'm saying. He said a lot. I was here, despite my.
Please proceed. You kept quiet. Yeah, you were very quiet.
Alaji should extend same courtesies to me. Alaji,
please do.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Please.
Alaji, don't worry. We have to also get an opportunity.
The voters register, and he alluded to the fact that there are problems with the register. That is an underlying fact. And so the question is, what is the remedy? Instead of talking about the remedy, you are resisting. But the EC has clearly given you reasons why they think that a new voters register is the best option. They have talked about obsolete, system that they cannot even, upgrade. They've talked about the manufacturer not being, in operation anymore. A lot of these things have been put on table. What is your counter argument? You have boycotted several meetings where you have opportunity to register your displeasure, but you have boycotted them, and the EC has made their point forcefully. Today, the matters have been arranged before court, and we are still hoping that the court would also put judgment where judgment is supposed to be. But I'm saying that once we agree that there's problem with the register, we must come to the table and say that there is a need to solve it. Now, you talked about ghost name, that today somebody may die after registration. That is true. But we're looking at the magnitude of error. An error of 1,000 cannot be compared to an error of 100.
So we have the president.
So I'm saying that
error. The president who benefited from the errors. Should we continue to call Nanado the president of the
Hold on. Yeah, please, James, go ahead.
Yes. All I'm saying is that whether he's a president of error or not, he's a president who was voted by majority of the Ghanaian populace.
In error.
And this Ghanaian populace, again in 2020, will endorse the candidature of Nanado and Dr. Bawumia based on merit. We inherited a government that was at the crass and slowest and shambolic performance. That is the economy we inherited. And the Ghanaian people know that the Nana Addo, Dankwa Akufo-Addo government and the Bawumia government have taken the government up haywire. And so all I'm saying is that we will win this election based on merit. And they are similarly associating the EC with the NPP is a fallacy. The former president told us that it's an old trick. And the moment you realize that you are losing the election, then you have to find a way to discredit the referee. They said it. And so all the attack that they are putting up is a clear indication of the frustration that they are dealing with.
Okay.
You get it. And they must understand that the laws will work. The laws will work, and it will not be by the determination of their blood, whether they threaten us or not. The laws will work. A new voters register, I believe, is a step in the right direction, because it will afford us the opportunity to leave the decision here in Ghana for only Ghanaians, and not other foreigners.
Okay, this is James Brown. James Brown is research and elections officer, Okaikwe South constituency. James Brown. Alhaji, also a minute for you to respond to a few things, and then we'll move to the next topic. Because he started, you came.
Quickly to pick from the middle, where he sought to suggest to the good people of Ghana that we left an economy that was in shambles to them. It is absolutely not true. Everybody knows that. If the John Dramani Mahama-led administration, and the John Mahama Mills administration were, for instance, giving one well of our oil discovery, which is with the Jubilee fields. And the John Dramani Mahama Mills administration moves it up until we have the 10 fields, we have the Sankofa fields, we have the Tuabo gas project, we have many other such things that will sustain the powering of your economy. You don't call that administration as bogus. We are asking you today, put to us on record, pound to pound. Let us box it out. What have you added to the energy sector that we have bequeathed to you? Nothing. We are telling you again that it is because of our investment, things that we've put in place, taxes like ASLA, that you were able to survive even running the energy sector of this country. That is our record. We've indicated it. You accepted it. And today, it will remain so that we contributed a lot to what was bequeathed to us from President Kufuor. And I've also bequeathed to you some good things. What we are asking you is that in your attempt to tell the good people of Ghana that we did not bequeath for you, something that was befitting to run this country, then you tell us what you are doing to bequeath to the next generation your stewardship.
I see what
you should tell us what you are doing. You did not tell us that. You always make empty statements. And that is how we've run this country for the past 3 years. Empty statement. They put it on social media, then it becomes the norm. They go and write it on some newspaper, then it becomes the norm. They say it on radio station, it becomes the norm. Then you want the person who made that statement and wants to grab him by his statement. They tell you that this is not the position of government, nor this is not the position of the MPP. It is an individual making a statement. That is what they've continued to do. And we are wised up. We are saying that, look, today, what we want as a people, work within the remit of the law.
Let me ask you one fundamental question. It is quite clear, it's obvious, that both parties are talking about, going into the elections based on track record. Because I know that the MPP has been pontificating that. The NDC has also been pontificating that. So why don't we then simply allow the EC just to work?
Yeah, but you need to allow the EC to work.
Why don't you simply just allow the EC to work? If you are saying that you're going to win, and you see you are cocksure, the NDC is cocksure, they are dead sure that they're going to win the elections based on the track record of the previous NDC administration, right? Plus John Dramani Mahamat's administration. The MPP is also very, very sure, based on what they describe as the unprecedented performance of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, they are going to win the elections. Why don't we just allow the system to open? Why don't we allow the EC to do whatever they want to do? Knowing fully well that if the people are going to vote for you, then it doesn't matter whether the voters register is changed or tilted or whatever in the favor of the other party, you will still win the elections in 2020. Why don't we allow the system to operate?
Well, we don't want to win an election that is characterized with a lot of chaos. That is not what we want to win. Do you understand? We want to win an election that is very clear, and that is why we are calling the EC to order before it gets to that. That is all we are saying, that the EC must work in tandem with the laws that gives it the right to operate. That is all we are saying. Exactly. And is it too much to ask for this? Exactly that is what we are saying. Okay. Because you see, if you are telling me, for the first time in the history of Ghana since 1992, we've had a Mensa-led EC administration that has come out to say boldly that we will not conduct elections for you, EC, NDC. We will not conduct elections for you. What does that mean? When it is part of their duty in Article 45E, saying that they should conduct all national elections, why do you subject NDC and say we will not conduct elections for you? We have the EC under the Mensa leadership taking a position on the plebiscite recently that was introduced. Bosman took a position that Ghanaians will vote no, yes. So that things will go in favor of the government. Okay. I mean, how can you judge such easy? And I'm giving you two examples. Okay. Give me one example since Aparijan, since what do you call it? EC Crab, Justice Crab. Yeah. When he took leadership of EC, drive down to Aparijan, to the lady who just left, Charlotte Osei. Give me one instance where you see the EC taking bold position in favor of government. All right. Thank you very much, Alhaji, for that response as well. Let me read a few of the messages and then we'll move to the other topic, which really is creating a lot of tension out there, and especially within the NDC's, if you will, fraternity. They are not particularly excited about the description given by His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo relative to the projects that were embarked upon by former President John Dramani Mahama. Especially with the Tema motorway project. So we're going to come to that because it has been described by a fantasy that can only find expression in the NDC's Green Book. We'll come to that. Let me read a few of the messages that have come through. Now, Shadrach Babobi Tendagojo says MPP is not sure. EC must stop doing that. He's insulting the EC. This one says, Crystal Atom says, good morning, Africa. Good morning to you, Crystal. Kingdom says, KOD, you cannot have perfect register. Okay, I think I've read this one already. Nash Chemi says, anyone who tries EC will use as an example to stubborn people by law. Okay. This one also says, see, MPP did not do anything in power. It's only free SHS. They have not done anything. Mahama Tognenu. My brothers. Tognenu. Jaw cracking name. Yeah. You know, I'm from the Volta region. I'm from Oti region. And also from KE Elmina. So my name's there. Okay. Eric Silvanus Larry Redu says, Master KOD, please tell the MPP man he doesn't know what he's talking about. Tell him if that is what he's saying about the voters register, then Ghana is not having a president. MPP is out of contest. Mr. Presenter, please try and give the video to the MPP communicator to later watch and see how we, the youth, upon listening to him, are scared. Adabi Suzy says, MPP party is evil. I really understand why they are not independent, but they are in support of the EC. Alhassan Yakubu says, the MPP man doesn't know what he's talking about. Master, if you want me, you should put money down when we are going to use the old ID card. Okay, all right. You should bet with it whether we are going to use the old one or the new one. Camille, Alpha Camila, interested. The MPP guy is talking with Vim as if Ghanaians have
gotten all these filthy lies they promised Ghanaians. Okay. Alhaji talks as if Mahama gained independence for Ghana. And and I won't be surprised if one day NDC, if I won't be surprised if NDC will one day say Mahama built Kotoka International Airport, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, 37, Manshia Palace, etc. Ahmed Abdallah says MPP never again. MPP are dictating for the EC, and for that matter, we won't agree. Alhaji, stop complaining about the new voters register. It is here to stay. Nobody can stop it. You can register or stay home. God, the Mensa Drew sent in this one. Camille, Alpha Camila. Okay, I think I've read it. Junior Tiero Shatta, the whole Ghana, Kokeri says, so when are the NBC going to be serious in Ghana politics? Who is forcing them to run to the AC for the training manual? Okay, I think well, that's the point that you're making. Let me now bring in the next topic, and then I'll read the messages on WhatsApp. But Alhaji Naziru, I'm sure you listened to the president, and I know also that the NDC was waiting in earnest for an invitation to be extended from the Jubilee House to His Excellency the former president, consequent upon the opening of the Temamoto Way interchange that was I don't know how to describe, but that was started during your administration, that was completed in this administration. But to your dismay, the former president wasn't invited, only for us to be told that, well, it appears that all of these so-called achievements by the infrastructure, whatever it is that the NDC did, were only found in the Green Book. What sayeth thou in respect of this matter?
Well, it's quite unfortunate. I mean, we cannot continue to run a country in this manner. I have always said that Ghana is not a Chinese movie, where, you know, it's typical of a Chinese movie to see someone train to the max to go beat some family head and kill him. Then the, you know, deceased family also trains someone. He gets training to the max, come to kill those who killed his father. Then it goes on unabated. I don't think that is the situation Ghana is in. We need to move on as a people. That is my position. The NDC, it is also a fact. It wasn't expecting invitation from the MPP, because there is no way Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo or Bawumia would like John Dramani Mahama to be present at where they want. I have several such instances that I can cite for you, where they have protested vehemently that if John Dramani Mahama will be given a speaking opportunity at the function, they will not attend. I can cite you in Bolga recently, where we attended the funeral of the, was it a Bolga now or something, where we all saw the pandemonium, where John Dramani Mahama was not even allowed to come there because it is a directive of the MPP administration that they don't want him to be part of the funeral. I can cite to you many other occasions that I have personally attended with John Dramani Mahama, and the kind of resistance they put in place that he shouldn't be given a speaking opportunity. So clearly they are scared of him, and for that matter they wouldn't like him to be around. So we didn't even have it in our mind that John Dramani Mahama will be invited. But it's just fair and nice, just like former President Kufuor demonstrated, former President Mills demonstrated when he was, commissioning the N1 highway to invite Kufuor, under whose administration this whole investment was made. And that's what we are also saying, that under John Dramani Mahama's administration, the investment was put in place. The necessary structures was put in place. The sword cutting was done. I remember very well in 2016 when the sword cutting of the Temamoto Way was done by former President John Dramani Mahama. And so is the Obechi-Bilamte circle that we are also witnessing. The sword cutting, everything was done. The loans cannot be attributed to John Dramani Mahama administration. And when the success comes, that one you take it. I mean, you cannot fathom where this logic is coming from. When under John Dramani Mahama, you are saying that his administration took so many loans that is crippling this country's economy. Some of the benefit of the loan is what you are commissioning today. You give him the loan, it should be added in his books, but the success story should be added in your books. It doesn't excuse me to say, I can't
You can't think far.
I can't think far. I mean, so it is pretty obvious today. The facts still remain. Everybody knows about it. There are, you know, several evidence to prove that even the first phase of the job that was done in Tamamoto Way was not even part of the Japanese loan. I mean, we did it as part of the port expansion exercise where the Medina, the Ashaman overpass and many other places were included to ensure that we open that part of the country. We are seeing the benefits today. Okay. This is a visionary leadership from John Dramani Mahama administration. And we hope and pray that as I speak to you, this President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be telling us that this is what he has done in Tema. I'm also moving to one area to do similar things to ensure that Ghanaians move freely. We have not done only Tema. We did the Kasua interchange. We did the Circle interchange. We all know what it means to business people, to the offices around that area where, you know, they've been choked with traffic for so many years and is stifling their, what do you call it, businesses. Today, we've eased up the place and the businesses are flourishing. It is an advantage, and this is what we mean by empowering. People matter in our, when we were, I mean, promising the good people of Ghana before we did all those things. We said people matter, and you matter, your life matter to the NDC. And that is our position today. Even with the issue of a voter register, we say people matter. So listen to the people. Do what will benefit the people and not only one family. Today within the NDC, MPP as a political party, and you heard them when they were moving around with these parliamentary primaries. You heard them. You heard the things NPP people are saying.
What did they say?
To the good people of Ghana.
What?
To the extent that this party has now become a family, you know, property of some individuals. I mean, it's very unfortunate. This is not a political party. You heard them when they are saying clearly that their party is working to, what do you call it, disqualify them when they are fully qualified. People who are doing this within home, disqualifying their own people within home. Today, as I speak to you, you know the man who led the Supreme Court, what they call it, contestation of Philip Addison has been disqualified.
I'm told.
Yes. I mean, and many other people. Some are being forced to go on opposed. They are not democratic. They believe in certain tangentials that certain families must be at some places, and they will do that hook or crook. That is not democracy, and that is what we are fighting against and telling the good people of Ghana that, look, we have a duty to protect the sanctity of our democracy. What is happening today is not the best. We cannot have a president that would approbate and reprobate at the same time. It will not augur well for us as a people. You cannot tell me that John Dramani Mahama administration took a lot of money, loans, that was bedeviling the survival of the economy of this country. And when you finish, what John Dramani Mahama used those things for, you said it is yours because you got the opportunity to commission it at your time. So they did with the Ridge Hospital. So they did with the Terminal 3 at Kotoka International Airport. So they did with many other places, the hospitals, the regional hospitals. We were expecting that if for nothing at all. Yes, some administration worked towards it, but we stood, supervised, and ensured that it comes to fruition, isn't it? So that if today you are doing something about the hospital, it's just fair, just like Mills did to Kufuor, to invite us. You didn't do it. We are telling you that what we have bequeathed to you to supervise and ensure it comes to fruition, you even left it in the bushes. But you still have the guts to look at the good people of Ghana and tell us what you want us to hear. Because you think you are the president of the Republic of Ghana today. We made you the president, and we are ready to change you, because the change you promised us must come on you.
Thank you very much. Please, can you help me understand how it is that nobody vouched for me to acquire the Ghana card, though my birth certificate without my picture on it was accepted as a verification document confirming my citizenship as a Ghanaian? Yet the same birth certificate is not acceptable as in the case of acquiring a new voter's ID card. You can have a look at the portions of the form filled for me to acquire the Ghana card to confirm what I'm talking about. Yeah. Good morning to you, KOD. The politicians are not being truthful as far as the voter ID card is concerned. KOD, the politicians are the same people who go around and mobilize so-called foreigners to get them registered for their selfish interests, especially in the rural areas. Some from Dunkwa on Ofin.
KOD, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Since we started this argument, Has someone been able to prove to you
No.
one name
No.
in the register of Ghana
No.
that the person is a foreigner?
I haven't seen or heard anything like
So
that.
why do we continue in this?
Akufo-Addo said he can't see the infrastructure built by JM. How can he see when he is still in Akwesi Nyantakyi's pocket? We, the well-meaning Ghanaians, know very well that the Temamoto Way interchange was built by JM Ortega Jr. from Bantama in Kumasi. This one also says, good morning to you, Keodi. In fact, in Ghana today, other people think they are more Ghanaian than any other person. Please, Keodi, that's the so-called ECOWAS card. Made one a Ghanaian, then the birth certificate doesn't. Okay, Ima from AK City sent in this one. For 4 years, Roman Mahama made us go hungry. He was also telling us to tighten our belt and take a bitter pill. How can one take a bitter pill and tighten its belt at the same time? Just imagine, Keodi. Tete from Takrady sent in this one. Where is it? This one says, good morning to you, Pan-African TV. You know that the president did not build any interchange in Ghana, so he is taking this one for his credit. But we, the citizens, know that it was JM who built it. A.A. Felix from Kumasi sent in this one. Champion Keodi, you see what the MPP is doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul. Why the MPP? What the MPP keeps saying NDC and President Mahama projects are only the Green Book, but what is funny is that the MPP keep paying the debt of NDC Green Book projects from Eben Mashoud in Tamale.
Yeah, logical. It makes a lot of sense.
Okay, nobody is stopping the EC to work. All we are saying is they should do the right thing. Does it make sense that the EC is today rejecting its own document? Unbelievable. Praise from Tema sent in this one. If the MPP is sure of winning this coming elections, they should stop backing EC of doing lawless voter registration because they fear Brima from La Paz sent in this one. I must make it clear that as far as it is right for individuals to vote or not to vote, it is equally wrong for EC to technically disable people from registering. Good morning, Pan-African Television. This man, James Brown, doesn't understand the issue at hand. Okay, so explain to him then. Omari from Agape sent in this one. Good morning to you, KOD. The politicians are not being truthful. Okay, I think I've read this. Oh, yeah. Sam from Dunko. Yes, I've read your message. The MPP, excellent performance, left NDC with no option than to create chaos come election 2020 by CC Charles in Sola. Ava Anwa Sadat V. Vice President lied to Ghanaians and you are still lying to Ghanaians. We are not fools. Good morning to you. Alhaji Naziru did all, but Mr. Kwame presented us MPP guy. When are they going to pay Arabic youth? Okay, ask the MPP guy, when are they going to pay Arabic youth employment teachers? The COVID-19 pandemic is killing us in the house, supporting other agencies, but Arabic teachers, why? Shari sent in this one. Good morning, sir. Please tell the MPP man that it is not, you see, if you call the WhatsApp number, I will not be able to read, and my time is, MPP man, that it is not the same voters card that brought them into power. Is it not the same voters register card, voter ID card that brought them into power in 2016? So what have they seen that they want changed? Okay. This one says, good morning to you. I'm scandalized when I hear the MPP say they are a Democratic Party. I mean, considering their actions and inactions, you can't help but say they are exact opposite of the philosophy of democracy in its entity. Alhaji Mohammed Naziru, please, I beg you in the name of God, give me more fire. Jidefo from who sent in this one. Putting politics aside, every normal person will know that recent happenings concerning COVID-19 and the requirements the EC has put in place are not odds that will favor everyone. So I still can't believe the MPP people are in full support of this, as though they don't care about the good people of Ghana. It's really sad and pathetic, pure wickedness. Rexford sent this one in from Owusu. The president must give credit to where it is due. Temamoto interchange, Pokuas interchange, Kaswa interchange, and so on are the legacy of former President JDM. The truth must be told at all material times. I'm a Daniel in Sogakope in the voter region sent in this one. Thank you. Good morning to you. I'm Dennis from Spintex. Why are we not calling for the arrest of the EC boss? I would like to know that with which law did the EC use in conducting its pilot registration, knowing well the CI is with Parliament yet to be debated? This is criminal and punishable by law. If I had my own way, I would have called for her arrest long time. Amagana is certainly bleeding. Heavyweight champion KO, the president Nana Akufo-Addo wants to use former President Robert Mugabe's plan by putting his men into the three arms of government to rig the election. By Hakim from Jarapa. Mr. Holt, the people in Takwa and Soyem are experiencing bad roads, so youth are ever ready to vote for Mr. John Dramani Mahama come 2020. Okay, your name is Justice Aban alias Mr. DJ. Good morning, boss. Please, I want to ask, do we need new voters register in these abnormal times while the case is still growing up? Yep. According to the EC, we do. What's the legal basis with the EC adduce within our jurisprudence and constitution to support their case? You see, okay, I get the Papa Etre from Greater Salt Pond. I was in Salt Pond like 2 days ago. I like your program. Let the court take control from Franklin at East Legon. Thank you, Franklin. I think you're first time. I keep watching us every time. Let me now come to you, my brother, James. Let's listen to you on this subject matter, please.
Well, I want to be very fair with this presentation.
Please.
Governance is continuous, and so I've heard several arguments about projects being, left behind just because there's a change of government and all that. I'm glad that despite the fact that we were made to believe that the erstwhile administration had, built several infrastructures after they have, gotten a lot of money. I'm happy that at this point, under the leadership of Nana Danso Akufo-Addo, we have seen utmost completion and not just an artistic impression of infrastructure. And in fact, when you also make the point, you must also ask that whoever cut sword was adequate funds left behind for the completion of the project. And because the fact that you secure money and you cut sword does not mean that there's funds, resting comfortably for somebody to come and use. I can confirm that there were several projects that, took off and it didn't complete, and there was no funding left behind for the government that succeeded the erstwhile administration to continue with. Right. And so the NPP had to also come up with innovative ways to, rake in funds to complete the project. And so, he made the point about the former president not being invited. We have seen the former president decline several invitations from government. At a point in time, there was even a chair labeled for him where he was very absent. It was all over social media when we were discussing the COVID-19 measures and all that. And so it's not deliberate for government to overlook, but it is also a conscious effort not to, create certain spaces that are, you can't justify. Because the president, if indeed he was even invited, could even decline. I hope you get the point I'm making.
Why don't you invite so he declines?
Well, I can't speak to the fact whether he was invited or not. But I'm saying that we have evidence of, series of events where he was invited, but he did not participate. This is a president who enjoys being on social media and, have a virtual conference and all that, but will not be ready to come and be part of state function. And we must remember that we have a government that is present. So you can't, exalt former administrations over a sitting president. And it is the sitting president's mandate to deliver. And so whether the former president is there or not, with all respect to protocols and all that, I don't think that the emphasis must really be on the presence of a former president. The president currently has made sure that there's completion as far as Temamoto Way is concerned. And we have done that under this administration. And so for me, I don't think it's even an argument at all.
So we're done. And you don't also think that at least we should have extended a certain hand to former president in order that we can, we are trying to weave a certain level of peace, together, and this would have been a positive demonstration that there's some level of unity even across the political divide, in order that it will send a certain positive.
No, you see, but you can't choose, especially which occasion you want to create the impression of unity about. You don't choose. When you are very much positioned to create that impression, you honor all invitations. And I'm saying that during COVID-19 times, invitations were extended to the former president to come and brief about what he also thinks could be done. He rather chose to form his own team and be on social media and talk to Ghanaians. And you can't, like he said, approbate and reprobate at the same time. You don't choose what you want and reject other. Then the offer will stop coming. So I'm saying that you must be consistent. And we don't necessarily even have to over-glorify the former president when a president is dealing appropriately with issues under this current government. He has a task to deliver. He came, whether there was a shortcutting or not, he's very much concerned about making sure that Tema Motorway interchange is completed, which he has done. The presence of the former president does not really matter. For me, it does not really matter.
Okay. If Samuel Oku is saying the voters register is ECOWAS register, then why are they saying we should use ECOWAS ID card for registration? Good morning. Atta from Medina sent in this one. Anyone who is trying to stop the EC will live to be example of violence people by law. Nash in Sagnarigo. Good morning. We Ghanaians will not allow MPP to choose for us from Portia in Ho. This one also says, good morning to you, Pan-African TV. I'm Dennis from Techima North. What beats my imagination is that even if there should be a new voter register, then the voter's card is only a replacement. Suddenly, the EC is excluding it and bringing cards that has nothing to do with elections. We are a village of about 1,500, but none of us has either the passport or the NIA card. Interesting times here. This one also says, what's the legal basis for the EC? Okay, I think I've read this message already. Nana Intema says, good morning to you. There will not be any new voters register. 1, the ECOWAS card being used to register is not credible. 2, the time is not enough for a new register. There will not be any new voters register. MPP is very confused. Nana from Tema sent in this one. Now, this one also is from my Elmina brother. He says, my Elmina brother, good morning to you from Reverend Father Jojo JP Gabra. Father, I salute you. I was in Elmina over the weekend. I came to eat Menabadris fufu.
JP Gabra, is it?
Yeah, Reverend Jeff Gabra.
He's my good friend.
Fantastic. Hi, Mr. Host. What is all this hula baloo about the voters' ID card? Please, I'm an MPP man. But may I ask, if an MPP man dies, which ID card will be used for by-election? I need an answer from my own MPP man. From Suleiman Jibril Otu from 2nd D. This one says, Kwame, please, Alfred from Tucker, ask the EC that the NIA card, an ECOWAS card, or a Ghana card, they should give us a break. Kwame, please, Alfred from Tucker. Okay, I've done that for you. I've asked the question for you. Good morning to you, Champion KOD. Please tell the MPP man to tell the truth for once. Long live all. Kelvin Chris from Takrade sent in this one. Hey, today my Takrade people are really watching me. I'm happy. Good morning to you. Dasba in Dagbani. Dasba, nah. Dasba, nah. When the majority of the people in the country fails or refuses to see or reason, the whole country suffers. To the people who brought to the heaven and on earth promises and denied JM, have you seen what is happening now? I've been participating in every form of elections in this country ever since I was of the age to do so, but would not say a word when this stiff-headed EC chair and her officials does anything to disenfranchise me. She and the MPP should kill us. Bagadaya, meaning once and for all, in Hausa.
By Kidaya.
Okay, by Kidaya. Good morning, boss. I'm Gizi from Nungwa. Please tell the MPP man there that he is not a joke. If they okay. If they think Ghana is bigger than Liberia, it's a lie, and we are not afraid of the MPP and their master Akufo-Addo. Okay. Hi, Kwame. Since the EC's main reason for changing the new voter register is the facial recognition, because of time factor, why not use the old voter register and its data to edit and capture the face for those who have their IDs? Okay, Jacob from Boko sent in this one. Good suggestion. I don't know if the EC will adhere to that. Good morning to you. Please ask the MPP man that the election of Nana Akufo-Addo was an error, and I want to know if he is really in touch with the grassroots. The nation is quiet about anything government is doing, especially public sectors, because of victimization, until he knows. Time will tell. Bakowale from Savannah region. Kwame, our president Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP see a new voter register as a never to be missed opportunity to implement a final solution to the vexed Ewe Votarian problem. Hey, okay. Hey, wait. Where is it? Okay. Problem. Constitution say that to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP, UP, NLM, Matemi criminal gang in Nkrumah and Ghana took the wrong turn in 1956 when the Transvolta Togoland became part of the soon-to-be independent Gold Coast. The incorporation of the areas of Transvolta Togoland into the Gold Coast, then Ghana, made an automatic Akan electoral majority impossible. This is the time to exclude them and other non-core Akan ethnic minorities from Ghanaian citizenship. That way, the real owners of Ghana can take proper charge of their country and their affairs. Simple. David Percy, Dr. David Percy, is watching us this morning. He sent this one in. Food for thought. How do you determine somebody's age without a birth certificate? Nelson from Abelinkpe here in Accra. Good morning, wonderful host of Pan-African TV and your nice-looking panelists. I'm so impressed with the submissions from your guests. As a faithful Ghanaian, I will be a double standard. It will be double standard actually if Jemensa and MPP Nian and equally want to be a referee for a game. Abba, why Ghana? Okay, Idrisu from Upper West Region sent in this one. Good morning, senior. Please permit me to use one soul to kill two birds instead. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government handled this COVID-19 pandemic better than any other person would have. We are extremely proud of him. We pray for him daily that Jesus Christ strengthens him as he fights this battle for the heart of this great nation. Amen. And tell MDC leadership that no amount of propaganda, lies, and empty threat can stop EC and Jemensa to compile new voters register. Mad Lion from Ahafushidiem sent in this one. Good morning, KOD. Now we are tired of NDC people, so that Alaji should shout in media houses but can't do anything because we are using laws. If you like, when the compilation starts, they shouldn't come. Showboy from Pando Zongo. Good morning to you, Mr. Host. This is Mustafa Issa from Enyamai. Hey, I hope I got it right. Forgive me. I'm from the central region, but this one, Enyamai from central region. Please tell the MPP man that whether they like it or not, we will vote for JM and tell the MPP man that doesn't know anything about the law. So he should go back and learn the law. Hey. Alale Zakaria Asamari, EC official, has started testing positive. The MPP man should be careful the way he talks and weighing for the EC officials. Hey. Question from Akim Oda says, good morning to you, KOD and your panel, Special Alaji. I don't know whether the MPP rep listens when he talks. The MPP rep must know that equal opportunity to register must be provided at all times, but individuals will decide whether to register or not. I think that's exactly what he said. Let's be fair to him. He said that, yes, the opportunity is there for everybody to register, but it's not everybody.
Individual's choice.
Yeah, it's an individual choice. Okay. Now let's conclude the morning show with something which is very, very, very interesting. June 4, Sergeant Akatapore drops bombshell. The inside newspaper. I've read it. I've read the entire text. Essentially, what it's talking about is that what is the purpose for celebrating June 4th? Really, is it to celebrate the bloods that were shed? Is it to commemorate? What is it really celebrating? Is it to celebrate the fact that J.J. Rawlings was taken out of prison when he attempted and failed the Akufu coup? Is it also to, if you will, memorialize the efforts played in addressing or ameliorating the challenges of the people at the time? Because he accounts that when former President J.J. Rawlings was arrested when he attempted and failed the coup, what actually made him gain a lot of support was the fact that he was speaking for the masses. The fact that he spoke eloquently about how he attempted the coup because he felt that the ordinary Ghanaian was not benefiting from the spoils of the state, and that the average Ghanaian, was ostracized, was not, was not properly taken care of and things like that. And that is what made the lower ranks within the military decide to support him. In fact, you had, lieutenants and things like that also come out to support him and things like that. That was the basis for that. They believe that the exigencies of the time that accounted for the brutal killings of the Akufo Kutuka, and a few others, right, where that they had enriched themselves, right? But if you look at what has been the benefit of that, because if you look at what is happening now, people are still enriching themselves, even in higher volumes than what it used to be. So what is the purpose of the June 4th? Did it really achieve its purpose? And also cite an example that after former President J.J. Rawlings, got into power, he also amassed for himself and his family wealth and properties of the state. He cited in Sawam Cannery as part of the properties that were amassed from the state and things like that, for the family and things like that. So what's the purpose? And if we continue to celebrate this, who are we celebrating? Are we celebrating the people who died with him when they were embarking on that coup d'etat, that junta, or the people that he killed? The wife of a Kufu, the wife of a Fifa, and things like that. Is it not really? What is it relevant, really? Is it not bringing people's minds back to the horror and terror that characterized the whole process and things like that? So these are some of the questions that he asked. And really, why are we celebrating it? What's the relevance? Alhaji Naziru, maybe just 1 minute to address it.
I'm touched, and as I speak to you, goose pimple is developing on my body, because I'm very happy I'm the one you are asking this question. As I sit here, I'm a disciple of the June 4th uprising, and I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of it because I can cite to you several examples where some section of Ghanaians have been ostracized from the sharing of the national cake for a very long time, but for the advent of the June 4th. Let me give you a typical example. Before the Fourth Republican dispensation, we used to have what we call the Dankwabuzia club. And if you will take that club serious, I mean, it was from it that we emanated the MPP. The Dankwabuzia today, we are being told, is Dankwabuzia Dombo tradition. Why was it then that when they were talking about Dankwabuzia, they didn't add Dombo? And today, as an oversight, they find it very necessary to add Dombo to make it complete, because that is their thinking. As I speak to you today, it is in the Fourth Republican dispensation in the year 2020 or 2019, 21st century, you hear a leading member of the MPP make statements to the effect that you need your chances to become a president in this country should be determined by the region you came from, not by your ability. Does your region produce natural resources enough to feed this country for it to merit you to become the president? They have forgotten that even if you have enough natural resources, you need the human resources to exploit it and make it money for everybody to benefit from it. So the human resources is more important than any other natural resource.
Achieve.
I'm coming. I'm making a point to you.
Because of time.
Yeah. So that if that is their thinking, they believe some are more Ghanaians and some are less Ghanaians by the virtue of how we put everything together and emanated from Gold Coast to Ghana. And I can cite to you several such examples. But for June 4th and its what do you call it, revolutionary tendencies and the house cleaning, I don't think people like me will be given the opportunity to come and sit here, no matter how we were educated. Radio stations was limited for a very few people. They determine who will go there and who will not say that. No, but the opportunity is not on a silver platter that everybody can compete for. Corruption. It was so reserved. That is the accountability. That is the cause of the corruption.
J.J. Rawlings himself was given some $5 million in Nigeria. When you asked him, you remember that issue?
Yeah.
And what happened?
What happened about what?
He took it.
Yeah, he took it.
Was it bribe? Yes, it was.
What makes it bribe?
Yeah, but he himself admitted that he took that money.
No, I'm saying that what makes it bribe?
No, but you're talking about but you're talking about probity, accountability, and truthfulness.
I tell you,
yes, tell me.
I've had the opportunity of working, and this is a profound statement, of working with the Rawlingses before. I remember one time when he told me and many other people, I can cite some people who are even today with the MPP, who were part of that sitting. Do you understand? And he looked us straight in the face and tells us that, you see, my party then the NDC were saying, I'm not cooperating to make the party move forward. But you see, I fought on the basis of corruption to ensure that there will be equity. In his statement makes people believe what he's saying, and they followed him to succeed. So and today we have the four Republican dispensation. I believe strongly, that if we have issues about the June 4th, let us raise it, so that if there are places we'll correct and move on as a nation. But the June 4th has come to make people like I'm a living testimony. Of the advantages of June 4th.
James, finally, I agree with my brother here that June 4th is more of a memorial rather than, a celebration sort of. And we need to, as it were, remind ourselves of some of our history, and also to question whether the values for which those, events came up are being still upheld. And so it calls for a national dialogue. It's not a matter of MPP, NDC. We must all come to the table and ask whether the issues of, accountable governance, social equity, and all that, these are values that today exist in today's, dispensation. And so for me, it must be measured, not to incite people that when you feel that you are, there's injustice, then you have to take the law into your own hands, or you can, end another person's life just because you feel there's, inequity. There's no equity in the system. For me, that is an extreme form of it. But the conversation is that we must remind ourselves that the values for which June 4th, the event of it leading to other issues came up, was because people felt that there must be social justice, there must be equity, there must be probity and accountability. And that is worth, these are values that we all should uphold.
Thank you very, very much. James, I really enjoyed it today. I won't lie to you. James Brown is the Research and Elections Officer of Okaikwe South. He belongs to the MPP. I've really enjoyed his company today. And undoubtedly, I've also enjoyed the company of Alhaji Naziru Mohammed, who is the spokesperson or the Director of Communications for the the National Communications Officer for the Zango caucus of the NDC. Grateful to you.
I have a problem with you and many other people. If this communication officer position was for National Communication Officer for the women wing, nobody will forget about it. But when it's a Zongo, everywhere you go, you need to remind the people.
Oh no,
Zongo, no. I'm not saying. I'm not saying it to tie you.
I'm a Zongo
but
boy.
That has been the general norm, and that is what we intend to correct.
No.
You understand?
I remember the Nazara. I remember Nazara.
We in the Zongo believe our issue is more of marginalization. It's that marginalization that has led to when you say National Communication Officer of the Zongo caucus, the next time I'll come here, I need to remind you again.
No.
But if it were to be women wing, youth wing, whatever it is, you will not forget.
No, let me correct that. Let me correct that impression. I'm a Zongo boy. Do you know Asante Mampo?
Yeah.
You know Mayanka?
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. So I'm a proper Zongo boy. I used to play, football with my proper. I was a footballer.
Yeah.
So as for me, when it comes to Zongo, the ghettos and things like that, I love to go there. I go to Nima every time. There's this nice rice in Nima, that I go to eat. So, and Chozafi, oh my goodness.
Well, it's very happy to hear that. That is some of our contribution.
Anyway, let me. No, I know. No, but I understand you.
People have continued to ask me to remind them.
Okay.
And I'm saying that if this position is a woman,
you know what's going to happen?
You will never forget. Why if it's you forget?
James, you know what's going to happen?
I'm not sure he'll forget.
James, you know what's going to happen? Next week, if I forget, I'm dead.
Let's hope so.
I told you so. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you to you, the viewers. You've been exceptionally amazing today. You've been very supportive, and I'm glad that you're able to share and watch on social media as well. I cannot thank you enough. My name will remain Kwame Owusu Danso, but before I take leave of you today, let me extend a heartfelt gratitude to the people in Cape Coast, to the people in Sekendi, to the people in Takrade, to the people in Elmina, to the people in Tamale, to the people in Boko, to the people in Wa, to the people in Ho, to the people in Oti region, Greater Accra, Ashanti region, Eastern region, and Bono East, Bono North, Bono South, Bono West, Bono Central, Bono everywhere, Western region. Thank you so much. You've been very supportive, and I'm grateful. I beg your pardon?
Left out too.
Where?
I thought you would add at least, if you forget Chamba, you will remember Sankara.
Oh, Sankara!
So the people in Sankara and the people in Chamba.
The people in Sankara, the people in Elembele, Chereponi everywhere. Let me say thank you, everybody. Chamba, Naradigu Gambaga, Wale, everywhere, Tolong everywhere, Sandema everywhere. I'm grateful to you. Nadoli Kaliu everywhere. I'm grateful to you guys for always watching the morning show. Asante Mampon crew, bless you as well. Oti Regina Kabwem, J Asekai, Rara. I love you guys. And Eumina Bantama. Thank you guys too for watching me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Do have a very pleasant day. My name again is Kwame Owusu Danso. Thanks a lot. Salute.
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer and the champion of liberty, of human equality. Let's salute him, fellow Ghanaians, the nation's founder, Sergeant Kwame Nkrumah. May God bless